And now we're going on to hear the stories of real people, and Sharon will introduce them. They're audio recordings.
Thanks, Justice Lafoy. So we're now going to hear audio interviews with two older people who are going to give us their perspectives in relation to long-term care. These interviews were carried out over the last fortnight. Once again, the Assembly had the professional services of TV and radio producer Sinead Inglesby, who you'll recall worked with us during the last topic. Sinead travelled to the homes of each of the individuals to carry out the interviews, and as always, Sinead dealt with the issues discussed sensitively and appropriately. And I also want to acknowledge the support and assistance of Sage, who assisted us in making the necessary arrangements with one of the individuals involved. I should explain before we begin that the two interviewees have requested anonymity, and therefore I'm just going to give you some brief introduction to each of them before I play the interviews, just to give you some context and some background. But each interview was recorded, as I say, a couple of weeks ago, and Sinead edited it to a small kind of 8 to 9 minute clip in each case. So I'll play them one after the other. So the first that you're going to hear is an interview with an older person living in their own home. And the voice you'll hear is that of an 86-year-old woman who lives in the south of the country. She spent some time in a nursing home but decided to leave and return to her own home. So
I am here since 1954, since I got married. I have 6 children. My age is 86 years of age. I feel very well. I'm able to look after myself. When I had a pain in my hip, I went to the home in Dublin, nursing home. I was there for a month, and I took them a month to get me the right medication. They made me stay another while to make sure it was working, that I had no pain. And then the girls came every so often. Not that often because they were all working, but as often as they could. And then they'd say, stay another month now, ma'am, you're looking so well. Stay another month. And another month ended up to 10 months. There was big differences, like, you got your tea at between 4 and 5. And after that, you went to your room, and you either sat there or you went to the television room and sat with people that didn't know what you were speaking about. They were as old and older and feebler, myself and another girl, and we were the only two that could walk. Everything is lovely about it, but you'd want to be ill, something wrong with you. And then it is suitable because they're very attentive and very good. It is not suitable for anybody who's able to get up and get dressed, because there's nothing to do. We weren't allowed outside the door. I was away from everybody. Sure, I did no sinner. And I loved my home. So I got very, very homesick. I really did. And I thought I couldn't wait any longer. So I had 2 attempts to go home, and I was stopped. I spoke to this lady one day, and she explained to me there was no reason for me to be there. I can go home whenever I like. There's no authority to keep you. My case was packed for a whole month or 6 weeks, I said before they let me go. The Sage people, they were absolutely brilliant. I used to look forward to them coming because they cheered me up. You know, they really did. They were so kind, absolutely. And like they did give me support, you know, and they gave me confidence to do what I wanted to do, was to leave. First of all, I rang the bank and I asked them about my account. And they said, oh, you've plenty, don't be worrying. So then I knew where I stood, and I told them I would be going home. Then they called a meeting for my children to come, and they said, ma'am, I think you're foolish. You'll be on your own, and we'll be worried sick about you. And I said, don't worry about me. I said, if I get sick or anything, I'll ring you first thing. And I said, I'm going to go home anyway. I hired a taxi and came home. And the taxi cost me 320 euros. And I said to myself when I was in the taxi coming down, please the Lord help me. I'm doing the right thing. So, but look, I was so lucky to have the money. I tell the children that. I'd be still there. They weren't very pleased, really. Any of them didn't speak to me for about a month. They didn't really, because they thought I was taking things too much in my own hands. But like now they see I'm happy, because I had it in my head all the time I wanted to go home. I had my own house, and I knew it was there, so they kind of understood then, you know. Oh sure, I'm so happy. I wouldn't leave it. The next time I'm going now will be in the box. The only regret I had, it was the girls kept telling me I was too old for driving, and I gave up my car. And I'm regretting it since. I have a nice sitting room combined with the kitchen and the dining area. And I have an outside where I have my washing machine and my freezer outside in the back kitchen. And I have 3 bedrooms and I have a nice bathroom. And it's situated a mile away from the town. It takes about 20 minutes of a walk. Go to my bridge twice a week and I go to Mass, but I have to walk. Sunday I usually get a taxi. I treat myself. I get my hair done on a Friday every week. There's a community centre up the road. I've been there. But you know, it's boring. Some of them are knitting and some of them are sewing, and I'm not into that. There's loads of my friends, and they come at least once or twice a week. The community nurse, she calls, about every 6 weeks. I've the home help from Monday to Friday for an hour, which is good, like. The girls ordered that before I came home. Well, that was a bit difficult because they don't have too many. And I get the Meals on Wheels Monday, Wednesday and Friday, 3 days. I could go up and have my dinner up there if I wanted to. But I prefer they bring it. I'm never sitting alone, to be honest with you. This place I want to be. You have your memory of everything, like from the children growing up, like 1954, it's a long, long time. We built that bathroom between us, the two of us. I mixed the sand and cement and handed it up to him. There was nobody else helped him. He did all the plumbing and everything himself. And I miss him so much. I think of him every single day. No matter what I'm doing, I wouldn't leave it for anything now. I don't care. I'm very happy and I'm very content and I've got everything I want. I mean, everything except my car. And I'm thinking of getting a new one. I am. Thanks be to God, God give me my health now. That's all I want. And a car. I must write a nice letter to the people that give the licence.
So the second contributor is a 95-year-old man from Dublin. He sourced a nursing home for himself and his wife after she got ill, and since then has lived in 2 different nursing homes himself.
We knew my wife was deteriorating, so she had to be taken care of in some form, and I couldn't do it at home, so the nursing home was the only answer. The hospital They had found that there was a vacancy here for her. So my daughter and I came out and inspected it. We liked the whole ambience of the place. We liked the staff and the management and the accommodation, of course, as well. My wife was 10 years here. So during that time, of course, I got to know everybody and everybody got to know me. So the only place I wanted to go to then when I decided to leave home was in here. And I was fortunate to get a vacancy eventually. I've been here now 3 years in July. And when I decided that I was going into a nursing home, that was it. There was no sentimentality attached to it. This was a factual situation where I couldn't live at home because I didn't have the medical support you get in a nursing home. We have a doctor every day. And anytime anything happens to you, you have a host of staff standing by to assist you. I got ill here and I was whipped into hospital immediately. No problem. That couldn't happen at home. You get 3 meals a day, very good meals, very high quality meals. You sit down, it's put in front of you. As I said to the family, look, I'm not worried about me now. And you're not worried about me now, because you know I'm in good care. Mary Harney's Fair Deal scheme is excellent. It subsidises your cost. When I left the house and went into the other nursing home, I had to pay the full cost myself because there was no subsidy. I had applied for the Fair Deal, but it was 6 months before that eventually came. Then when the Fair Deal kicked in, it was tremendous support. It can be a long day. We have breakfast at 8 o'clock, which is served in the rooms. Depending on your own ability, you get dressed, washed, or the staff will do it for you. Then I would read the paper, which would take most of the morning. Then there's tea or coffee at 11 o'clock. And lunchtime is 1 o'clock. We get a menu every day of what's for lunch, what's for tea. Tea is at 5 o'clock. When you've had your evening meal, then you can watch the news and whatever else. They have a lot of activities. They will have entertainment, will come in regularly. They will have physical exercises quite frequently. So you can make your day fairly fulfilling depending on yourself. If you're a socialite, you'll go out there every day and talk to everybody. If you're a hermit like me, you'll go into your room and sit there and read the paper. You may not necessarily get a single room. You may have to share. You could have 3 other people in a room with you. Depending on who you're sharing with, life could be hell, you know? You are in a community of 40, 50, 60, 70 people who may not be the people you would select to associate with every day of your life. You are here 24/7 with these people, and you have to be able to, if you can, adjust. They are different degrees of illness, and you must recognize that when you come in here. You will find people who may not be mentally capable, so they are relying on management to look after them and to make decisions for them. Nursing home has a certain connotation in people's minds. They see doddery old people sitting in a chair staring into space. That does exist. There are a lot of people who are really not with it, if I may use the expression. People who do not know where they are, do not know what they are doing, are talking and they are not really having a conversation. And that's part of the nursing home setup. That's why there are nursing homes, to look after these people. They are great places. It's wonderful that we have them, provided they are properly run, provided it's a high standard of care, because unfortunately we have read and heard about nursing homes where some terrible things have happened. And I distinguish between public and private nursing homes. A public nursing home is run by the state, and the state pours the money into the nursing home, or not, as the case may be. But in a private nursing home, it's profit making. And there is the danger there that profit will take over care. Now, I have been in both. I've been in private and public. And I have been fortunate in that the private was good. But I do mention it as something for people to watch. If the company that's running the nursing home wants to make a profit, they're going to start cutting corners. There are people here who have no visitors. Now that's sad. Unless you can get out, there's no contact with the outside community. And I think that the local community should have an association with the nursing home, whether it's the golf clubs or the GAA club or the local college or school or whatever, should adopt their local nursing home and make sure that there are always visitors and people involved in the activities of the nursing home, and that they can be called on if the nursing home wants their help. I think that's vital. The community and the nursing home must work together. I'm lucky I have my family, that they come in quite often and we go out for a drive or whatever, because I've got to the stage now where I'm really immobile. I'm in a wheelchair. I can't move around as much as I was able to years ago. Do I mention my age? I'm 95. 95 and a half. Let's get the half in. Yeah, I'll be 96 in September. So as long as you have your wits about you, that's a blessing. And you can give out and complain. Oh yes, they hate me here because I complain so much. No, I always express myself, yeah. Don't forget also, the managements are sometimes appreciative of the fact that you see something they don't see. And if you're in a position like me to express it, then they may appreciate that you're telling them something they didn't know. You know, so it's important that there is somebody like me to be able to express their opinion from time to time. I was always like that. I was always creating problems.
To express gratitude on behalf of everybody in the room to our two speakers.